Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Last week we discussed backbiting and argumentation. And let's read a little bit from the book, for the barakah of the book. Inshallah, I'll just read a few things to get it going. But the backbiting is pretty long. Yeah, so just at the beginning of backbiting, page 96, he says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, restrain your tongue from backbiting, for backbiting is a sin more severe for a Muslim than 30 acts of adultery, as in the narration. The meaning of backbiting is that you make mention of someone in a way that he would dislike it were he to hear it. Doing so makes you a backbiter and a wrongdoer, even if what you say is true. Beware of the kind of backbiting that is committed by the reciters, the alim, the ulama, who are showing off. This form of backbiting is that you make your meaning understood indirectly. Saying, for example, may Allah rectify this brother. I am truly saddened by what has happened to him. It has worried me. I ask Allah to rectify us both, me and him. Imam Ghazali is saying this is backbiting, because you're getting your message across indirectly. For indeed, this insinuation is a combination of two reprehensible acts. One is backbiting, since the other person understands the point being made, and the other is considering yourself virtuous and praising yourself by passing a judgment. In the next paragraph he says, if you were really concerned about him, the proof of that would have been that you would not have desired to disgrace him or reveal his faults. However, your display of concern over his faults is in reality a display of his faults. Your display of a concern for his faults, you're really just showing his faults to everyone. Sufficient as a deterrent for you against backbiting are the words of Allah. Let not some of you backbite others. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? No, you would despise that. Indeed, Allah likens you to one eating the flesh of the dead. How appropriate is it then for you to be on your guard against such a thing? This is the matter which would stop you from backbiting against Muslims. Were you to ponder it, turn to yourself and consider, is there no flaw in me, apparent or hidden? Are you committing any act of disobedience, open or hidden? If you know this to be so about yourself, also know that the other person's inability to free himself from what you have ascribed to him is the same as your own. And his excuse is the same as your excuse. Just as you hate to be shamed and your faults to be mentioned, so too does he. Yet if you conceal his faults, Allah Most High will conceal yours. If however you disgrace him, Allah will let loose upon you sharp tongues, ruining your honor in this world. Then Allah Most High will shame you in the hereafter in front of all of creation. If you have looked at the outward and inward aspects of yourself, and not found any flaws or deficiency, neither in religious nor worldly affairs, then know that your ignorance of your own flaws is the vilest type of stupidity, and there is no greater flaw than stupidity. If you can't find any faults in yourself and any flaws that you are doing regarding your religion, regarding your character, then he's saying this is the vilest type of stupidity. If Allah Most High wills good for you, He will give you the ability to see your own faults. If Allah wills good for you, He'll give you the ability to see your own faults. Looking at yourself with an eye of satisfaction is the height of foolishness. To look at yourself that I'm good, I'm okay, is the height of foolishness, because you've hindered yourself from improving. Only when you realize that you have flaws will you try to better yourself. And the epitome of ignorance. If, however, you are truthful and sincere in your opinion, then show gratitude to Allah. If you see a fault in a brother and you are sincere, first thing you show gratitude to Allah. Alhamdulillah alladhi afani min. Alhamdulillah, Allah has protected me from that thing. Do not ruin this blessing by slandering others and sullying their reputation, for that is one of the greatest of faults. With that said, let's now turn to this paper which Sarah and I put together. Everything on this is from either Imam Ghazali's other books or Imam Nawawi's books. Imam Nawawi, who wrote Riyadh al-Salihin, Imam Nawawi. So, let's go through this. Ghiba, backbiting / slander. Definition. What is ghiba? Ghiba means to mention anything concerning a person that he would dislike, whether it is about his body, his religion, everyday life, self, disposition, property, son, father, wife, servant, clothing, movements, or anything else connected to this person. This is backbiting. To mention anything related to this person that he would dislike.
When he is not there.
Yes, when he is not there. To mention means, look at this is important. To mention means by one's word, writing, sign, indication of one's eyes, like, you know. That's backbiting too. Mention of with one's eyes, hand, head, and so on and so forth. So it's not just speaking. Not just speaking. You could be like, you just backbit that person. You know, it's the same thing. Body refers to, now they're just defining everything that we just said. Body refers to saying things like someone is blind, lame, tall, short, dark, pale, all of these things. If he would not like it, yes?
Would it be considered backbiting if he was speaking hypothetically? I've seen someone they with the biggest ears I ever saw in my life.
You didn't say the person, right?
Right.
No, that's not. You have to mention the person.
In the hadith, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ always used to say so-and-so.
So-and-so. Yes, for sure. But if you say like, I saw someone with big ears, that's not backbiting because no one knows who you're talking about. But if you say, I went to Makkah Learning Center and the Imam is such and such, you didn't say his name, but everyone knows.
Right.
Okay?
Well, riding down the street and you see a big fat man and you tell you...
Now, that happens a lot. Riding down the street, you see someone on the sidewalk and you say something. Look at that. It's backbiting. Let's continue.
But what about it?
Let's continue. Let's continue. It's all going to come. Write down a question. I promise I'll answer. But a lot of it will come later. Okay. Religion includes saying that he is corrupt. Man, that guy's so messed up. Cannot be trusted. Does not care about prayer. He don't pray. Does not watch out, avoid filth. He's not careful about istinja. He's not careful about those things. Everyday life refers to saying things like his manners are poor. He doesn't have any akhlaq. He talks too much, man. He does not care about others. These are all talking about everyday life. Father refers to saying things like his father's an Indian, a carpenter, low class. Things that the person will not like you saying to other people. Clothing means saying things like his garments are dirty, too loose, too long. Other remarks can be judged by the above examples. The determining factor is mentioned about a person, what he would not like. That's the main thing now. The determining factor is mentioning about a person what he would not like. If he won't like that thing and he's not present, you just backbit that person. Let's keep going.
What about if you say something and the person is present?
Then now you've did something worse, which is you've insulted his integrity.
Nobody knows that except him.
Oh, that's not even backbiting, even if he wasn't there. That's not even backbiting, even if he wasn't there.
Okay.
The ruling is going to start a fight though. The ruling for ghiba, Ibn Hajar, listen to this. It is unlawful and from amongst the major sins. It's a huge sin. Huge sin. The way you think of zina and alcohol, think of riba that way. It's a major sin. A major sin is worse than zina, by the way.
30 times.
30 times worse than zina, according to the hadith. 30 times worse than zina. The major sin is one that is proven as being so by numerous authentic clear proofs. It's a major sin because there's a Quran ayah about it and numerous hadith. Numerous hadith about how bad it is. And it's in the Quran clearly. With the severity of it. Evidence of its unlawfulness. There is much proof of its unlawfulness from the Quran, the hadith, and the consensus of the Muslims. Quran, do not slander one another. Then, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Then hadith. Do you like what slander is?
Do you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know what slander is? It is to mention your brother that which he would dislike. Remember this. If the brother is not there and he would dislike that thing being said, you have backbit that person. For sure. You have to pay him some deeds on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Unless you ask him forgiveness. No matter what. No matter what. And we just read. Imam Nawawi says his clothes, his car, his character, all of that is backbiting. Clear backbiting. The Muslim is the brother to the Muslim. He does not betray him. Lie to him. He does not hang him back from coming to his. He does not hang him back from coming to his aid. Oh, you put hang him back.
It shouldn't hang back.
Yeah, or hang back from coming to his aid. All of the Muslim is inviolable. It's deserves respect to his fellow Muslim, his reputation, his property, his blood. Taqwa is here. The Prophet ﷺ pointed to his heart. It is sufficiently wicked for someone to belittle. It is sufficient for wickedness. It is enough to be considered wicked that someone belittles his Muslim brother. Next page. Other forms of ghiba. Look at this. This is important. Other forms of ghiba. Mimicking others. Imitating their movements, such as walking with a limp or a stoop or similar posture, intending to mimic the person with such a deficiency. Slander also includes the author of a book mentioning a specific person in his work by saying, so and so says such and such. So if you're writing a book too, you have to be careful. Which is unlawful if he thereby intends to demean him. Look, there's the key. Which is unlawful if he intends to demean him. If his intention is not to demean the person, it's not unlawful. If he's stopping some evil from happening, then he has to do that. Okay? But if he wants to clarify the person's mistake so that other people will not follow him, or expose the weakness of his scholarship so others will not be deceived and accept what he says, it is not slander, but rather advice that is obligatory. Fard. You have to do it. You have to do it. You got that one? So sometimes you have to stand up and say, he's wrong. He's wrong with what he just said. Here's the proofs why. But rather advice that is obligatory and is rewarded by Allah for the person who intends it as such. When a person being spoken to, remember, other forms of ghiba. When a person being spoken to understands whom one is referring to, it is slander as well. When the person you're speaking to understands without you saying who you're talking about, this is slander. Such as a certain someone, saying a certain someone, a certain scholar, one of those who passed us today, etc. Yo, yeah, one of the guys who was in class this morning, this guy does this, So now you have an idea amongst who it could be. So now the person can figure it out by the context. So you have to be careful when you say, okay, yeah, I met a brother at such and such masjid doing this thing. Now you're getting specific, and people could figure out who you're referring to. Okay? Just as slander is Are we going to explain what slander is, Sada? Okay, slander. Slander is when it's not true about the person. Slander is when you say something about a person that's not true. So ghiba is to say anything about a person, or to say anything that he won't like, but it's true.
You use slander as ghiba.
Yeah, but sometimes they're used interchangeably, slander and backbiting. Okay? But as a definition, just understand, slander is when you mention something not true about a person behind his back. This is worse than ghiba. Okay? Because it's not true. It's a lie and you're saying it behind his back. Ghiba, backbiting, is when you say something is true. It is true. It is 100% true. But he's not there and he would dislike if you said it. Just as slander / backbiting is unlawful for one who says it, it is also unlawful for the one hearing it to listen and agree with it. Okay? If someone's backbiting to you, you have to stand up and stop it. It is obligatory. Can you overline that? Obligatory? It is obligatory whenever one hears someone begin to slander to stop him. You have to stop the person. You have to stop the person. Save them. Save them from losing their deeds. Save them from destroying themselves. Stop them. And from you losing your deeds also. It is obligatory whenever one hears someone begin to slander, to stop him. If this does not entail manifest harm to one. If it does, then one is obliged to condemn it in one's heart and to leave the company if available, if able to. So if you can't stop it, you hate it in your heart and you leave. Okay? You have to hate it. That's the first thing. If you're enjoying it, is that coming? When the person who hears it is able to condemn it in words and change the subject, he must. So just change the subject if you can. Try, start talking about something else the guy likes to talk about. Change the subject. But if the hearer tells the slanderer to be silent while desiring him to continue, this, as Ghazali notes, is hypocrisy. Did you guys get that? Mm-hmm. If you tell the person to stop backbiting, but in your heart you still really want to hear it, Imam Ghazali considers you a munafiq. Your heart should hate it. Your heart should hate hearing this. So we are like way far from this. We enjoy it and we don't stop people. Right now, what I'm trying and I want to get to is the point where we just stop people. The next level is where we just hate it in our hearts. We just hate it. Hate it. Okay? You can work towards that. And we have to work towards that. But the first step is let's just stop it when we hear it. Okay, I want to hear it, but just be quiet. I don't want to know. And Imam Ghazali says that's still nifaq, hypocrisy, because you really want to hear it. This is hypocrisy that does not lift the sin from him. For one must dislike it in his heart. You have to really hate that sin. Next one, look at this one. Forms of ghiba, entertaining bad thoughts about others, is as unlawful as expressing them. In your mind when you're backbiting, you do it so much. Astaghfirullah. In your mind you're backbiting, but you just don't say it. Now you're backbiting him here. And it's su'ad dhan. It's having a bad opinion about people. Su'ad dhan. So he's saying, even that level, if you can get to it, don't backbite in your mind. I know it's like, I know we're thinking like, where are we, right? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Just know, at least we know now, right? So now you can understand how bad it is to say it. Imam Ghazali is saying, don't think about it. Okay, you thought about it, hold it in. Now we don't even hold it in, we let it out. This is the worst. Muhammad, I think it was, someone told him that such and such person was just backbiting you like crazy. So he sent his servant or whoever to that person with a gift. Dates. And he said to him, tell him, I want to reward you for what you've given me. I can't give the same thing to you. This is the most I could give you. So thank you for what you gave me. And this is the most I can give you. I can't repay you because you gave me good deeds. I can't give you that, but at least I could give you is this.
Keep it up.
You get it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I get it.
And it's not restricted to if the person is a Muslim or not.
Yes, we're getting. Is that here? Non-Muslim is it's not here. Okay. Yeah, we spoke about that last week. It's not restricted, brother. It happened to me. Can I give a personal? I don't like giving personal stuff in class.